Got attacked by dog.
Okay.
Hi. Where's your brother? All right. Blossom's Believe. Oh boy. Just stole my dog's name and mixed it with Justin Bieber. I'm not sure how to feel about that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Really don't know how to feel about that one.
Well, lots happening in the world, Joshua. Lots happening.
No.
It is election day around the country of America. Lots of, well, I shouldn't say lots of, there's really only three major races happening, and one of them is already over.
Yeah.
Um,
Not it's not my state anymore, but still.
yeah, well, it's kind of concerning, honestly, to see such a thorough loss. Uh, so Abigail Spanberger has defeated Winsome Sears in the Virginia gubernatorial race. And it was not particularly close. She beat her by 10 points, which is not quite landslide, but it's it's bordering, right? And now there's only 35% of the vote in, but from what I can tell, it looks like it's enough to already pretty much declare that Spanberger has won this race. And I find that pretty concerning given the uh, attorney general candidate who she continued to endorse and stand behind, being Jay Jones, called for the death of the Virginia Speaker of the House, former Virginia Speaker of the House, and his children in the arms of their mother, which not generally how we do things here in America. And yet she so thoroughly just smacked around Winsome's ears. Like this was again, it's not quite landslide, but it's not gonna be a close election. And that is deeply concerning to you, boy.
I think I'm frozen still.
No, you're
It says trying to reconnect, so I wasn't sure.
oh no, you're here with us on my screen at least.
Oh. Well, it'd be really funny if you're talking to nobody in the stream, and now they're just seeing you creepily smile without any context of what's going on.
Well,
But, I mean, I'll check. Oh, no, I'm moving still. Okay, okay. My computer's just lying to me.
they do that from time to time.
Yeah, they do that from time to time.
You said they.
You said they first.
No, it's just it's a stupid joke because you said doo doo.
Oh my
They
gosh.
do that, and so I took that
Child.
and instead
Child.
instead of the actual punchline there, which is haha, you said doo doo. My RA used to make this joke all the time. Anytime anybody said doo doo, he would take a different word in the sentence and make fun of that.
You're just disappointing me right now. I don't know how to feel about anything you're just saying.
Doo doo or election?
The doo-doo part.
Thoughts on the election?
Um, I was too busy making my dog do the Macarena as much as his arms will let him. I don't know if you were noticing that at
No,
all.
I think you were frozen for that part. Thank you.
Aww. Bentley was doing the Macarena as much as his like little arms would let him. He was going bum, bum, out, out, head, head, down, down, shimmy around, and then kept repeating. Anyways,
Uh, so I
regarding,
was just. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I'll say regarding Virginia, um,
Come again?
you're
Oh,
welcome.
Virginia. I
You're welcome.
thank you.
I mean, I know a little bit what's going on there because I was keeping up a little bit. I was keeping more up to date with New York stuff since that's where I live. But no,
Gay.
you live here too. Um, no, but from what I heard, it was definitely like I don't know. I'm not. If I was in Virginia, I don't know if I would be the most thrilled,
No, no, and
like
I
at
think
all.
what I think the message that this has sent broadly uh, to anybody who voted for Winsome Sears is, and as much as I hate to say it, is the other side is okay with you dying,
Yeah,
right? I mean, if that's what Abigail Spanberger endorsed and then she won, okay, what am I supposed to take from that? I'm supposed to take that it is okay in your worldview for me to die if it means you get what you want politically, which I don't know how you run a state like that. Especially not if Jay Jones wins the attorney general's race.
right.
I mean, if you're conservative, then I would say get out of Virginia. Like it is very clear that they are willing to they are willing to endorse your death. What's up?
And not laughing at anything you said. My
I didn't
Blossom
think
went
you
into
were.
Blossom went into the crate and then got into an attack position as Bentley stared at her and then just pounced out behind. I just heard him fighting behind me. As you were saying what you were saying, I was like, oh no. But yes, I'm on dog duty all week because the fam is working on a production. So today and Thursday, there will be visitors who might, like right now, have to go to the bathroom.
Yeah. All right, I'll wait till Josh gets back then to talk about it. But I'm looking at the attorney general race and don't love that. Like it's close. It's very close. But sorry, I'm just looking at the poll numbers and it's so revealing. Dude, it is so revealing. There were 5 write-ins in one county. That's fantastic. There are 271 write-ins in Alexandria County in Virginia. Alexandria preferred the or in Jay Jones or Jason Miaris. I don't know. Right. And what makes Virginia so significant is that it's a huge battleground state, right? It's a very purple state. For those who don't know, purple just means it's not red, it's not blue, it's not Republican, it's not Democrat. It's kind of independent. It's right down the middle. It's purple. And so if that's an indication of how people are feeling and specifically how Democrats are feeling in probably the most middle of the road state, that's an indication of how Democrats are feeling everywhere. Because Virginia is generally quite centrist. So if the centrists of the Democrat Party are willing to vote for a candidate who openly called in a non joking manner for the deaths of his political opponents and their children, and said that his political opponents were, quote, breeding little fascists, unquote. If the centrists vote for that. Imagine what the fringe is voting for. So, looking at the Virginia Attorney General election, it's a very, very, very narrow margin, but Jay Jones is currently winning.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's 50.4 to 49.2,
Dang.
with a lot of votes still to tally. It's 41% has come in right now. So there's still 2/3 of the vote left to count, but not looking good. Oh my goodness.
What now?
Mikey Sherrill is the New Jersey gubernatorial race with 16% in. Mikey Sherrill is just dominating Jack Clatterelli. It's not close. 62 to 36.
Any updates on New York?
No, because that the polls close at 9 there.
That's right. All right. Why don't we move on then to. We could talk more about this as we get closer to the New York one, maybe, and some of the results as they're
Yeah.
moving along. And then why don't we talk more about the part that confused me the most when you texted me, "Hey, I want to talk about Justin Bieber." And I was like, "What? When's the last time anyone that I know has ever talked about Justin Bieber? Back when we were in
Yeah.
high school, and all
Yeah.
the girls were flocking over him."
Yeah. No, it's not something I ever anticipated to be talking about. But then again, I did 2 live streams about Taylor Swift and another one about and another podcast about Sydney Sweeney. So
I wasn't ready for any of those. The Sydney Sweeney one really threw me for a loop. I was like, dude, I just escaped my roommate, one of my roommates who had a massive crush on her. And I was like, shut up. It's
well, and that's something else we could talk about because she also went viral over the weekend for a very different reason.
oh boy.
2 very different reasons, if you catch my drift. Um,
All right, we get rolling, dude.
so, well, I guess all I really wanted to talk about with Justin Bieber was I didn't know where to stand with him um, before this event. And, whoa, sudden chats.
That's all
Uh,
me.
yeah. I didn't really know where to stand with good old Justin. Um, Mostly because he professed to have become a Christian, then had this weird sort of thing where he was hanging out with a lot of not great people and a lot of sketchy people. But recently, he started a podcast because he's a white millennial. So I'm not wrong.
Is he a
Uh,
millennial?
I think he is. How old is? How old? 31. Okay, so he's a Zoomer.
He's a
Huh.
Zoomer?
Yeah.
I forgot. Where are the lines again? We're
Um, let's see. Gen Z years. Okay, so Gen Z is okay. That doesn't make any sense. Okay, so no, he would be a millennial because Google at first said yes, he is a Zoomer, but then Google here says that Gen Z is defined as individuals born between 1997 and 2012, and Justin Bieber was born in 1994.
wait. Hold on. It says millennials. We're what?
No, no, no. That's Gen Z
Oh.
is 97 to 2012.
Okay. And he's what year you said?
94.
Okay.
Hang on.
So he's just a little short of ours.
Yes. Okay, so Silent Generation is 1928 to 1945. Um, Also the Greatest Generation. Baby Boomers. So Boomers are 46 to 64.
Yep.
X is 65 to 80. Millennials is 81 to 96. Gen Z is, so that's us, is 97 to 2012. Gen Alpha, my daughter, is 11 to 24. And Beta started this year.
Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
We will literally have a generation of betas. You're
The
welcome for
problem
that.
the problem is that they all will learn probably brain rot from our generation, aka and the generation below, and learn to misuse beta in every single sentence they use.
Yeah. But anyway, so
Anyways,
he is a white millennial, so of course he started a podcast. And it's him and a bunch of his friends just sitting in a warehouse and talking. And that's the whole podcast. But it's I don't know that it's necessarily supposed to be a faith-based podcast, but often faith is talked about. And the reason that Justin went viral is he has a very large fan base of non-believers, right? Or at least people who are unfamiliar with the Bible. And he quoted Christ in Matthew 5 talking about lust, right? That to even look at a woman with lust is to commit adultery in your heart. And he said that, and he didn't inherently say it was from the Bible. So people just thought it was him saying that. And so there was one side that was it was really funny. One side I was like, "Wow, that's so profound. He's so smart. He's so wise." It's like, yeah, guys, guess where that came from? uh, but then the part that I wanted to focus on was the part that got outraged at him. Like, well, there was one comment that I thought was funny. It was like, well, then the whole world is guilty of adultery. Or the whole
mm,
world been cheating, I think is exactly what it said. Um, and my immediate thought was, do you lust after every single person you look at? And it occurred to me um, that people often will conflate lust and attraction as though they're the same thing. And I think the reason for that is because we live in the culture of sex, and we live in the culture of, well, less so today. I think people are starting to wake up to it, but for 20 years we have lived in the culture, actually probably more than that, because you have the 50s, which are the, I would say, time most similar to 2000. But then you get the 60s and 70s where people are just going out and having meaningless sex all the time, lots of drugs, lots of, you know, essentially paganism. Uh, that's what it was, right? I mean, you get Woodstock, which I mean is absolutely just a pagan festival. Uh, and then Burning Man starts to the base layers of Burning Man, which is out and out a pagan festival, right? It is sex, it is drugs, it is communal spiritual experiences, and then they burn an effigy. All right, well, short
hey,
of
that's
human
gonna be
sacrifice,
familiar tomorrow.
huh?
We get to talk about that tomorrow in one of the many episodes coming out tomorrow.
Nice.
Guy Fawkes Day,
Yes, that's
where they
right.
would burn effigies of him, and then later on they burn effigies of him and the Pope or of the King, depending on what country you're in.
Hmm. Remember, the 5th of November.
And it spawned a great movie and a great book.
I assume for great movie you were referencing V for Vendetta.
Oh yeah.
Well, we'll have to talk about that at some point. Um,
Is that a positive or a negative?
I am not a fan of V for Vendetta. And it's not because I don't think the movie is well made. I think the message behind it is absolute bunk. But
There's not
that's a
supposed to be a
conversation for
message
another.
behind it. It's
But there
it's
is, right?
it's the
You can't
story.
actually be inherently neutral.
No, the story, because the comic, as Alan Moore stated, is supposed to be like a thought experiment of like two extremes going against each other, of anarchy versus fascism, and what
Sure,
that kind of thing can lead to.
sure,
It's
but the film
is
puts
based
an
on the
agenda to
book,
it.
right?
Right,
But
it's based on a book, but it puts
it's
an
based
agenda
on
to
the
it.
book, and when you follow the film, it's following this. It's supposed to be following the same train of thought. It's like, okay, V is a anarchist, and the government is fascist, and it's this back and forth between the two.
Right, but again, well, this is a conversation for another time. But I will say, V is painted more of a hero in the movie, in my mind, and there's a lot of imagery used
Mm.
um, that I think portrays, in particular, Christianity in a very negative light.
Mm.
But that's a conversation for another time. So we are in this culture of, I would say it really picks up again in the last 20 years, right? Because we talked about how we get the 70s, the, just live free, man. And in exchange, you're really killing yourself. Right? You become so enlightened, so free living that you kill yourself, right? I mean, uh, and that kind of sees like a little resurgence in the 90s, but the 80s pretty much went, oh, okay, we messed up. We went too far. We got to go back. Uh, and so the 80s try to course correct, kind of fail, um, because it was just trying to conserve the 50s rather than actually conserving um, core biblical values. Right? It didn't reintroduce the Bible. It just conserved the politics of the 50s and not what made the politics of the 50s work. The 90s then rebels against the 80s because life, and there is nothing new under the sun, and sort of does the same uh, the same sexual liberation, mostly in terms of homosexuality. That's where the quote unquote gay rights, which we talked about rights and how that's not how that works. Uh, that's where that comes in, and you get, as Michael Knowles likes to say, I'm going to kill myself like Kurt Cobain. Where that's seen as like the pinnacle of enlightenment and freedom because it kind of is. Um, I mean that is ultimately what, not the Enlightenment, because John Locke and similar thinkers would have opposed that idea extensively, but that's where Enlightenment as a Western idea kind of leads to, right? Where it's the only action you can ever take that means anything, as uh, the Sorrows of Young Werther states, is to take your own life. That's the only action that can ever mean anything in full Enlightenment, nihilistic garbage. Um, and so, anyways, then, but the idea of sex, the idea of just go out and do it, I mean that in many senses, comes really into fruition in the 2000s. And you see this in a reflection of the explosion of rom coms, which nobody ever talks about. And I find that interesting. That it seems very apparent to me. The 2000s were all about sex. Right? You get the the child stars of the 90s turning into your Miley Cyruses and your Britney Spears and, right, all the modern sex symbols of the 2000s. And then it comes to a climax in 2013 with the Obergefell decision and saying that not only is sex to be free, all sex is equal. Right? That's effectively what the statement of two men can be married is. Right? Their sex is the same as yours being the heterosexual. It's the same thing. And you get okay. You get, bye Josh. I'll miss you forever. right. Well, now that he's gone, I'm over it. Um, sorry. Uh, yeah, he's back. Gross. Sorry, that was involuntary. Uh, um, yeah, but so you get that idea, and then transgenderism emerges from that because sexual activity is inherent to sexual identity. I mean, that's why the first thing that God says um, for both man and woman is, you shall be joined as one flesh, right? Because it's God taking the sexual difference there and joining them together in the act of matrimony, um, which, by the way, comes from the word mater, meaning mother. So the idea that you can have two men married is kind of funny because then you don't have a mater. You don't have matrimony. That's neither here nor there, really. Well, actually, it's kind of the point. But this sexual being steeped in this sexual culture for 20 years, it's begun to the it's begun to get to the point where, excuse me, you can't even be attracted to the member of the opposite sex without people just, oh my goodness, pardon me, without people just instantly viewing that person as a sexual object. They are just meant to be a means to an end, some type of gratification. And that's, in essence, I would say, because of the other thing that really emerges in the 2000s, and that is internet pornography. Porn has unfortunately come a long way since its inception back in the mid 20th century. Right, that's when you start to get Playboy, and it's naked ladies in a magazine. And you used to have to, at the very least, you know, go in and buy the magazine, so there was some social stigma. But once it became online, and you could do it in the secrecy of your house, in your bedroom, on your phone, locked in a bathroom stall in a Wendy's, wherever you were doing it. I don't know why that example came to mind, but it did. Wherever you were doing it, you could do it in secret. Nobody could know. Nobody had to know. And as such, you begin to see this increasing sexual objectification. That's the word I'm looking for. Right. Men and women begin to objectify each other. Well, so men begin to objectify women, and women, because they follow men's leads, begin to objectify men. And it eventually becomes a matter of just purely seeking after each other as objects. You are purely just there for my sexual gratification. And gone are the days of just finding a girl cute. Now it's, is she good in bed? You know, let's get a little graphic here. What's her chest like? Or like it's these disgusting manifestations of just pure sexual deviancy because of all of these issues that have existed for at least 20 years concretely and have been present in Western society for the last 60. And so when I read the comment that the person made, to kind of circle all of this back, when I read the comment of the person saying, I guess the whole world been cheating, it was saddening. He could not separate. I assume it was a he. He could not separate. Actually, it's a Justin Bieber fan, so maybe not. And if it is a he, we have other problems. Uh, I'm just speed running getting this episode taken off of YouTube.
I guess you are. You're trying to like find any way you possibly can to make sure that it gets taken down
That's what I'm here
without
for.
crossing lines.
That's what I'm here for. Uh, but it was saddening because he couldn't separate this idea of looking at a person who is attractive versus lusting after them. Like, I have had friends in the past, female friends, where I look at them and go, she is attractive. And then that's the end of the thought. Right? That is the end of the thought. I've had those friends in the past. I shot my shot with a couple of them, got turned down, and that was the end of it. Right? I didn't continue thinking about them in that way. I didn't continue fantasizing about them in that way because I have Christ, right? And I have that intrinsic moral compass saying, hey, she is an image bearer of God, right? Like we've been talking about the past few weeks on the channel. She is an image bearer of God. She is not some desire, not some piece of meat for me to just check out. And it's that continual inward reflection of keeping my thoughts on things above, right? Renewing myself daily, not falling into the traps of the world, focusing on the fact that she is a unique and beautiful individual rather than, hey, she has a good butt. I thought you might appreciate that. Like, instead of just focusing on the desires of the flesh and the lust of the eyes, thinking about her as, she's a really great friend and a beautiful human being made in the image of God. And I don't mean physically beautiful, I mean spiritually beautiful. When that becomes the first thought, I'm able to separate attraction from lust. Not always successfully. There will be times when you will struggle. There were certainly times when I struggled. But I praise God that He has helped me in changing that, in becoming better and becoming a healthier individual, especially in terms of my relationship with others. It is so important to not be drawn into this trap that this person, because again, we don't know necessarily who it is, but that this person has been drawn into, where he says that the whole world been cheating. No, the whole world doesn't look at everyone with lust. And I guess I just found it sad that we as a culture can no longer understand the basic essentials of human interaction because we have been so steeped in sex and so steeped in porn and so steeped in lust itself that we have failed the basic political, and I mean that in the classical sense, not the modern, the basic political interaction, the sexes. I don't know. I found that sad.
I mean, I think on one hand, there is the element of how there is a difference between lust and attraction. But I also think that for our country, like kind of as you were talking about, because we're been so steeped into it, it's not even just like the lines have been blurred in terms of description because of that, but also like it is something that because the language has been blurred, that it seems to be that, at least I can't attest for everyone, I can't even attest for a majority, but a lot of the testimonies that I hear, because those languages have been blurred, the vocabulary, the thoughts end up getting blurred together at times. And not even just like the thought of like understanding it, but like the jump to the normalization of looking at someone sexually and talking about it has now become that unless you talk about her in that way or him in that way, then are you really attracted to her or him? If you can't picture doing things, or actually no, usually it's not even like doing things to them. It's desire of them doing things to you, because that's seems to be sometimes more of the focus. It's like the things that you want to do them because of how it benefits you, which, when you're hearing like married couples, at least in my circles, when they even like just having these adult conversations as like people, they're talking about how the emphasis of your putting the needs of the other person above them, even in that setting. Whereas a lot of these conversations, it tends to go in the how can it benefit me? What can they do to me, or what can I do to them that will benefit me? And even then, we shouldn't be talking about that kind of stuff in general unless you're married to that person. Um, but it's not even just like the talking about the sexual issue, but it's how self-centered that sexual conversation has become.
Right. Yeah, absolutely right. And kind of as you were talking there, I was thinking the obvious reference here is the Book of Song of Solomon.
Mm.
Right. Talk about an absolutely selfless love poem. At no point in the book do they praise themselves, the people talking. They're constantly praising the other person. Right? And the only time they talk about themselves really is to talk about how much they adore the other person and how much they want to be with the other person. And it's funny because people, I've had a couple people ask me before, scattered throughout the years, why is Song of Solomon in the Bible? Right? Right? It's just a book about sex. I'm like, that's exactly why it's in the Bible. Because it's a necessary book about sex. It is meant to describe how you ought to feel about your spouse. Not the person
Yeah.
you're dating. Right? A lot of people think, oh, I'm dating a new person. I should read Song of Solomon. It's not meant for you. It is not meant for you. It has far more graphic descriptions than you as a dating person should be reading.
Some descriptions you don't realize are graphic.
Some you
because
don't
of the
realize are graphic
and
until
some
you
you
get
do.
married. Until you get married and you have that creation of one flesh, and then you
Yeah.
read Song of Solomon, you're like, oh my goodness, I cannot believe that this was written down, let alone written down into an inspired work. And it's like, wow, that is so much more graphic than I had thought.
Well, it kind of goes into the weird mixture of how this conversation has become overly normalized in the negative sense, as we were just kind of talking about. And because of that, the normalization of it in a positive sense has been removed entirely because we're afraid
Right.
that if we mention it all, that we're talking about this taboo, dark, evil thing. And it's like, dogs, how do you think we we have more people? How do you think we
I
get
know.
more?
Yep.
um, it's literally how we reproduce. I mean, there's obviously more to it than that. It's not merely just a reproduction
No.
thing. I do not want to
No, but
lower,
that's one of the telos of it, right? And I mean,
right?
that's
But
yeah.
like, there's the issue as like I said, we were just talking about how there's the negative aspect where we have blurred language of attraction. Like I like our we have a mutual friend where he was talking about like, look, if I look over and I happen to see a woman and I think she's attractive, but I look away, I'm not lusting after her.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Like I was like, oh, noticed. But even then, he's like, if I notice, like, as a married person, like, if I just happen to notice, okay, whatever. If I'm lingering on it, okay, now we're getting a little problematic. If I'm now really lingering and looking and all those things, now we've crossed some territory.
Right.
But noticing someone is not the same thing. But we've, like
Right.
you said, we've blurred kind of that language that which has now we've can only associate those thoughts, and therefore we think that in order to be attracted to
And
someone, you have to think of them sexually.
exactly. And
Um,
if you can't notice that people are attractive, a majority of humanity would not have existed.
yeah.
Right.
Um,
Marriage tends to happen between two people who think each other are pretty cute.
yeah. Um, and then we have the fact that because that's become the normal conversation now, like I think church has been getting better about it, but there's still this like taboo thing of like, okay, I can't talk about this. It's like there's
Right.
certain things maybe you shouldn't talk about it. Like I'm not gonna talk about this with some random like my any of my friends who are females. Not gonna talk about that.
No.
And there's
No.
certain contexts with guys I'm still not gonna talk about because I'm not gonna like talk about it indie and let it slip into the negative sense. But we're just talking about
Right.
like, hey, we're struggling with this, or hey, I want to have a more positive view of this so that way I can think rightly about it and not slip into like that's different. But I'm not gonna talk about it at all with a female. That could very be
Right.
that can be dangerous. I'm not gonna say it will happen, but it has
It
the
has the
ability to be,
potential.
has potential. So I'm not gonna
Right.
pull the slippery slope fallacy saying if you talk about the woman, you are definitely in trouble. It's like it has the you have the possibility just because of the nature of male and female.
Right.
But then it has become so taboo.
I would think I would caveat it with definitely not a one-on-one conversation.
Oh sure,
Um, if you are in a group setting, mixed company, and you're doing a lesson on lust,
yeah,
you're gonna have to talk about it with women present, right? I
sure,
know you know that. I'm just saying for
yeah, you're
the
caveating
audience's
that.
sake that you know you don't need to be legalistic about it,
No,
right?
yeah, yeah, no, absolutely not.
Check your gut, use judgment. First Corinthians 2 intensifies.
Um, but yeah, and then there's such a negative view on it, or a concern of the negative view that we don't really talk about it. And it's like we always have to preface with a warning saying, hey, we're going to talk about this now. It's like, if you have kids in the room, sure. Maybe you want to preface that, especially if you're not, depending on how old they are, or like if you're in a sermon, or if you're doing a live stream about it and like you have a kids audience. But also like the fact that like I remember Inspiring Philosophy, he did a video discussing this woman's book with her husband, and they were just talking about stuff. And he had to say, now I know some of you out there are going to be super concerned about this, even though it's a good thing from the Lord. And he had to do his whole preface, but it was him making fun of the fact that he had to preface it.
Yeah.
But it's the fact that we have to even preface it sometimes. It's like, um, do you realize that sex is like on like several different pages of the Bible? Like not even just in Song of Solomon, but like
There's a whole book, right?
well, I mean, like not even just that, but like you have
Sure.
positive and negative throughout the entirety, like all
Yep.
throughout Genesis, Acts, it just keeps going.
Right.
Sure, you don't really get it to in the New Testament because it's tracing Jesus' teachings and letters.
Exactly.
It does. There's no reason to. But when you're tracing like the
But even
stories
then,
of the
there's
people,
it's still present.
oh, for sure, for sure.
Right? I mean, I think about the entire first half of First Corinthians is correcting sexual immorality.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. It's a
Sorry,
conversation
I
that's
didn't mean to
all
cut
over
you
there.
off.
But yeah, it's interesting as you said that that's become the normal thinking. It's just the sexual revolution obviously ruined sex in many ways. Maybe
Uh
not ruined
huh.
sex. It ruined the view of sex in many ways.
That's a good distinction. Yeah.
Um, but I lost my train of thought now. It has ruined the view of sex in many ways that now there is so many misconceptions on how to even think about it. And then again, it's not really new though, I would say, because you can just look through histories, like, or maybe like different elements are added that are new, like the transgender to the degree it's
True.
gone to is different. It's not new in principle. I remember in one of my sermons I said there is no new sin, but there are new methods to how to engage in sin. Like there's the idea of males struggling with gender dysphoria, which there's a difference between generally struggling with like mental illness versus like actually like giving into it,
Right.
or just saying that you feel this way. But that's not new. I mean, you even have. I mean, I can't attest to the actual full history of it because I have to research it. But like, you have a whole thing in the Old Testament, but like, hey, men, don't dress like women. Women,
Right.
don't dress like dudes. Um, don't engage in certain sexual acts. Like, not even just the homosexual, but like just a whole bunch. There's just a list of them. But then today with technology, you can do things like. All right, I should rephrase that. You can do things like gender transition surgery, even though your biology is still
Right.
chemically the same, you're just mutilating your body and changing parts. So it's a new method, but it's the same at its core. And but it's like maybe the better way to frame it is that the sexual revolution has ruined conversations
Mm.
about it. I would say that the issue of the sinful issue of sex has been in humanity for like ever, or ever since like the fall, you could argue. But the conversation around it, um, I don't know. I mean, I haven't read every human article throughout history to know if that's totally true, but it definitely seems that like the conversation behind it keeps like there keeps being added more eggshells, or it keeps becoming more in your face, and the conversation about it has become so murky that no one knows how to talk about it unless it's the extreme of objectifying people, um, or purity culture in like the extreme sense, and then some in between spots. Like I'm not gonna say that these are only the extremes. There's obviously like things where they do talk about it differently, but it seems like you have to go one of those directions, in some capacity.
Right. And as in all things, almost, moderation is a virtue. Thank you, Aristotle.
Well, any more on the
No,
Beaver?
that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about just the outrage about his comments, and I did get again a kick out of people thinking it was a sort of, I don't want to say Schadenfreude, but a sort of sick pleasure out of people not recognizing it was the Bible and thinking this was just Justin Bieber,
Being wise.
spouting wisdom.
I
It's
mean,
like,
he
no,
was spouting wisdom. It's just that he had a source for that
not
as
his own
well.
wisdom,
Yeah.
right? Spouting original wisdom, I guess I should have said. But yeah, no, it was funny for that. I think the best reactions, outside of the ones that allow us to have a 45-minute conversation, are the ones I anticipate Doggo incoming. I was correct.
Dago.
Um,
Oh wait.
Stop doing the Macarena.
Attack!
Oh, right up the nose.
Stop!
Can you show that comment on screen? I don't have permission to do that.
Shout out to Bieber. Dharma Dom.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. Shout out to Bieber Wisdoms,
Hi.
right? I mean, it's fantastic. But no, my favorite aspect of the comments were the ones who were like, "Oh my goodness, he's so smart. He's so wise. He's such a poet." And it's like, if you think he's great, wait until you find out who he's quoting. You're gonna love him. Yeah. No, it was interesting to just see the reaction to that in the opposite camps.
Ah, she fell.
Anyways, now that we've become clearly unserious,
No, no, no,
uh,
no.
Abigail Spanberger has slightly extended her lead to 11 points now.
Dang.
So yeah, and with 68% in, she is absolutely going to win this race, and it's not going to be close. New Jersey gubernatorial is not looking good for the Republicans either. That one looked like it was going to be more of a toss-up, but with 32% in, Mikey Sherrill is just clapping Jack Clatterelli. She is up by 18 points. Now, that comes with the caveat of several large counties not being counted. And if they all go for Jack Ciaretti. I'm sorry. I think that's Citarelli. I think it's Citarelli. I think I've been saying it wrong. With Jack Citarelli, if those all go in his favor, I think he probably wins this and wins it fairly easily, or at least fairly comfortably, I should say. Probably by several points, maybe 4 or 5 point difference. Um, However, if they do not and they kind of split them, it's going to be pretty clearly a win for Mikey Sherrill. And then, most concerning of all is that Jay Jones is starting to slowly but surely pull away in the Attorney General's race. 67.8% of the vote is in. So 2/3 of the votes are in, and he has a 2.5 point lead. So before, where it was less than one, it is now increased to 2.5 points. And all I can say, if you are a Virginian Republican, run. Run. Because clearly half the state is cool with your murder.
Yeah, that was pretty ridiculous when that quote came out. Like, I don't know how people did not revolt at that, but apparently they didn't.
Because, I mean, think about the response to Charlie's death.
No, that's true.
Right, and now we're still seeing it, right? There are still clips where, oh my goodness, what's the lady? Who's the lady that goes around and like interviews people? She has like a slightly higher pitched voice. Um,
You're talking about the conservative one?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I want to say it's starts with a J or an A.
I
Give
think
me
it
a minute.
starts with an A. I don't recall.
Give me a second.
Um,
I can hunt and
but
find.
she was interviewing somebody recently actually, who said that they were glad that Charlie was dead, and she said, "Well, I do something very similar. Should I die?" And the lady responded, "Well, maybe."
I think
To
I
her
saw that
face.
one.
To her face. This is not a fringe view anymore. Uh, the There was a poll that came out that said something like 30% of liberal, I think it was 33% of self-identified liberals, um, would support political violence that they deemed necessary. And it's like, okay, well, firstly, I don't like the phrasing of that question. Um,
It's Caitlin, I think.
oh yeah, 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 yep, yep. Um, yeah. But anyway, so I don't like the phrasing of that question. I think it's a little misleading. Because, okay, define necessary political violence, right? Is it, you know, the military has taken over the government and we need to defend ourselves? Is that political violence, right? Like, it's a very vague and poorly worded question, but we all have an idea, generally. We all have the same idea of what political violence is. And for 33% of liberals, for 1 in 3 of liberals to say, yes, I would support that, that is deeply concerning.
Yeah.
That is deeply concerning. Actually, I think it might have been, sorry, I think it might have been young liberals, which is still deeply concerning.
Yeah. Any thoughts from the chat about? I don't know. It could be about the election stuff right now. It could be about something else.
Yeah, we're kind of camping out for the next 6 minutes, waiting for New York polls to close. I imagine Zoran is gonna run away with it. I, I mean, unless nobody votes for Curtis Sliwa, which is my hope. Right, Curtis. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm not a New Yorker. Kind of seems like a weird guy to me. Um, but the problem is he's a weird guy who's taking like 11% of the vote, all of which would swarm to Cuomo if Curtis were not in the race. And so by staying in, Curtis Sliwa has essentially elected Zoran Mamdani. And it's like, great, I'm glad you got your moral victory of 11%, dude. You just handed excuse me, the city over to a Muslim communist. Great, dude. I'm so happy for you. I'm so glad that you personally had a great time, had a fun time. Um, and Josh is over there smacking dogs.
No, no,
Um,
they were trying to dig a hole into a carpet.
yeah, no, you're not Hassan Piker, so I don't have to worry about you abusing dogs on stream.
No, I would never abuse my little puppies. Come here.
Um, but yeah, I don't really know why he was so insistent that he had to stay in. Like, there is no path to the mayor's office for you, my dude. Um, but I'm glad you had a good moral victory. Okay, so uh, New Jersey is getting a little closer.
Nice.
It went from an almost 20-point difference. Right? Hang on, math. It went from a 24-point difference down to a 15-point difference with just 6 more percent of the vote in. So New Jersey is looking closer. I still say it probably will be Mikey Sherrill, um, which tracks as she is the incumbent in a close race, which generally means that she's going to win. But who knows? Maybe not.
Where are you looking?
I'm on CBS right now.
CBS?
Yes. And then the Virginia Attorney General's race I have on NBC. It's the only time I ever visit these websites. I'm looking at the county breakdown map for Virginia. It is
Yeah.
literally all red, save like 3 counties where it's urban areas. And just that those 3 urban area counties are just controlling the race right now. Right, like you got Charlottesville, which is 81% for Jay Jones. Richmond, which is 77%. Fairfax, which is 60. Actually, Fairfax is pretty close. I didn't expect that. Um, and then there's one more urban area, which is Emporia, that has not been counted yet. So it's those 3 are just deciding this election right now. I imagine as Campbell and Charles City County. Why is there a county named after a city? What? As those. Um, Also, I'm sorry. Hang on. I need to show a map real quick on stream. That. Hang on.
Well, you do that.
Yeah, you do the you. What the frick is this? Why? Why is that not part of Maryland? What logistical sense does this make? That this is Virginia. It is literally not attached to Virginia at all and entirely attached to the state of Maryland. Why? What are we doing? That makes no sense whatsoever. But yeah, like, these are the current numbers. I forgot, y'all can like barely see. So this. What the frick is this? Why? Why is this? Like, look, we have Maryland here. This is what I'm whining about at the moment. What is this? Why is this Virginia? This. That little strip off to the right. Why is that Virginia? Why is that not Maryland? It's
Mm.
literally attached to Maryland and not at all attached to Virginia.
Mm.
Why? Right, but then this is the current results here for Attorney General of Virginia, aka the Chief Law Enforcement Officer of Virginia. The guy leading that wants to murder his political opponents.
Yep. What?
Unfreaking real. Oh, polls in New York just closed. Gonna be counting the ballot. Um, I like that CBS just opens with a lean to Zoran Mamdani. No amount of votes have been counted yet, but it's still just yep, we're leaning Mamdani because they already know how it's about to go.
Unfortunately, we're gonna get the
Oh yeah.
Muslim commie weirdness.
Yep.
I'm proud to be a New Yorker.
I mean, is we?
And here's the thing too. You're. I mean, I guess it is. I don't know.
Hey, we went live.
We went live a while ago.
I haven't looked at my phone.
Well, aren't you just ridiculous?
I'm not trying to be, man. Oh, Colts are going to win the Super Bowl. I'm calling it now.
Disgusting.
What do you mean? They went out and traded for holy crap. All right then. 36% of the New York vote in, and Mamdani has a commanding 14-point lead. That's not 14 points, that's 12 points. I can do basic math.
You need outside again, girl.
I'll be here waiting. Right, and see, right there, 8%. Cuomo will be losing by 4% right now if Curtis Leo were not in the race. Do you see the frustration here, right? Like, I'm so glad, buddy, you had your moral victory. Who freaking cares? What is that going to matter by, like, 11 o'clock tonight when Zoran Mamdani has won? When a Muslim communist has won the mayoral office of the political and economic capital of the world. Political in the sense of the general body politic. Right, not in the sense of the actual political like political power. I'm not saying that. Like culture, right? The cultural center of the world, effectively. Just got handed to a Muslim socialist for the sake of a moral victory for some dude in a red beret.
What about a red beret?
Curtis Lewa always wears a red beret.
Do you hear me chewing?
Yes.
Dang it!
And you can hear the bag crinkling too. Hey, the Republican closed another point in New Jersey.
I think this return to like sports, I guess NFL commentator type of stuff, commentary.
What do you mean?
You just start, you start announcing things like you're watching an NFL game.
Oh, I don't know if I have that in me, or even really that desire for this particular event. Also, if I'm Chris Collinsworth, how do I just ham fist uh, Mahomes into this? Because
Don't. I don't even hear about
no,
the Chiefs
but
anymore.
hey, the Bills won,
It did.
so
Thank goodness. Did their job.
I will say I got a kick out of the people who called Super Bowl 59 like the worst Super Bowl they've ever watched. I'm like, be happy we won. Like, you know,
Down with the
we
Swifties.
exactly, we defeated the evil empire for you. Just be happy. Stop whining.
There's only one good empire. It
The
was all
Rome
from Star Wars.
one? Actually, no,
No,
it's the American Empire is the
I don't
best
think about Star
empire.
Wars because it had Darth Vader in it.
I don't quite know if I'd say it was a good empire.
No, 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 no. I only said I caveated why I said it was good. I said it was good because Darth Vader was on it.
Yeah, uh, I would agree.
That is my
Good character, but
nope, nope, nope.
not
The Empire
not good
exists.
human being.
I never said that it had to be good in terms of moral. I just
Moral
said
standing.
good.
But
Good
okay,
does
so
not
good by
necessarily
what definition then?
good does not necessitate moral. Like,
It does necessitate some moral degree.
well, no, Darth Vader is a good character. Am I talking about his morality or about his character in the writing for him?
I think both, actually. I would argue for both. Because I mean, good by what standard, and good in what sense? Right?
That's why.
I believe that good always carries some degree of moral weight to it.
Mm,
At
I
least
mean,
in the sense that we would talk about it in a more philosophical sense, right? If I say
well, I
these are
mean,
good
like, if I
cookies,
said this chip tasted good,
I
is
was
that a
gonna say,
moral
yeah,
related?
right. That so, but hence why I caveated it with the philosophical statement.
Well, because that still kind of applies to the Darth Vader thing. Because we're talking about moral, then no, he's not good, because at least until the sixth movie, he's not. In episode 4 and 5,
Well,
he's
at which point he ceases to be Vader.
right, right. So that's when Anakin. But Vader
Well,
is
hang on.
not
I
morally
would argue there is some good morally to Vader in the sense that he does care about his children. At least his child, right? He never really meets Leia.
all right. But is one good thing that qualifies if someone's good or
Oh
not?
no. That's
Okay,
not the argument I'm making. I'm
okay.
saying
So that's
there is a good moral aspect to Vader in the sense that, just as his name implies, he is a father.
right. But I guess my point is more of since we're not talking about his moral ethics, but we're saying that he's a good character. We're not talking about him and his ethics are good. We're saying that the writing for his character is good. Now you could talk about how
Well,
the
then
dynamic.
I would
You,
specify that.
I'm saying if you want to throw in the dynamic of his ethics as a of argument for why he's a good character, then you still have to define what you mean by good. But I'm talking about like I'm not talking about good in the moral essence. Like,
Yeah, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but I think New Jersey's pretty much over.
let me see what it is.
She just won a pretty sizable county, and it caused her to jump up from 13 points to 16-point lead. With over 50% of the vote in, I think that's about over. Awesome. And then Attorney General's race is still close. It's still 2.5 points. That's margin of error, but 76% of the vote in. Less than a million votes left. I'm not holding my breath on that one. All right, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I just thought that was an important update.
Oh, I remember what I was saying. Really?
You were talking about the quality of Vader being good doesn't inherently imply the statement of good character, meaning moral good.
Right. I'm not saying that if he's a good character, I'm not affirming his morality as good.
No,
You
no,
could,
but
but you could, if you want to make an argument for why his character is good in terms of writing, and you want to throw in the morality aspect and the conflict that he has within himself and other things, sure, you can use that. But that's still not necessarily talking about how. I guess it wasn't addressing the way I think we initially started the conversation.
yeah. I'm gonna go put shrimp in the air fryer because I'm hungry.
I'm gonna go put shrimp in the air fryer. You're gonna leave them with me on a topic that I'm not. Oops, I dropped my phone. A topic I'm not as. Well, he can't hear me anymore. I'm gonna. What's up, guys? And by guys, I mean Dharma Don. What's up, buddy? Oh, Dharma Dom. Dang it. Dharma Dom. Because right now, I think you're the only one who's live with us. Then again, I wouldn't want to be live at a 9:12 p.m. either. Looking at a video about Justin Bieber. But, I don't know. Might people who check this out later. Who knows? What? Oh my gosh. Girl, you just scared me. Oh, she does that sometimes. Girl, what are you doing? Oh, I was not ready for that. Sometimes she does that. If she sees her reflection or my reflection, she barks. If she thinks she heard something, she barks. Even if there's nothing, she just barks. She's a little stinker sometimes. But we love her. Here's the problem. All right. I've completely derailed everything in this live stream. So if you're watching still, you're a saint. You are a magical person because somehow you were willing to put up with us for the past hour. But I mean, she looks. Come here, little girl. Okay, never mind. She looks like this sweet little girl, and she's adorable. She's wonderful. I love her. She's a menace. Of the two of them, she's the problem child. I love her. It's funny half the time, but she's the problem child. He just has a fancy little goatee at 6 months old. I find that if you get if his hair's pointed down, he looks really, I don't know, just his age changes. But when it's all kind of tucked in, then he looks like a little puppy again. Oh, Caleb's back with not with his shrimp, but I don't know what he's doing. Well, let's see. Anything new regarding this? I mean, stats are pretty much the same as before.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, pretty sure the Colts are winning the Super Bowl.
That was a jump back.
They, yeah. They traded for Sauce Gardner.
I got scared by my dog barking. She just barked at the door for no reason.
Yeah, no, but they traded for a probably this year I would say top 10. He's not been quite as good this year, but a two-time All-Pro corner. They gave up 2 first-round picks for him, so they kind of went with a screw them picks approach, and they're like, we're just going to win this year, which I can respect. I don't necessarily know that their run defense is quite up to snuff. But the only team with a decent run game that I see that threatens them is Buffalo. And I think Buffalo's run defense is extremely suspect. So,
Well, the important thing is they lost recently.
The Colts? Oh, yes, to the Steelers. Yeah. Yeah, Daniel Jones had a
Dude,
terrible game.
I think we caused 6 turnovers
You
on
did.
turnovers on them.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
it's
And that is
magical.
classic Pittsburgh football right there. Our defense will win us the game or we will lose.
Well, it's again, it's like the Eagles. They
Yep.
play a decent team. They'll play really well.
Uh-huh.
When they play a team that sucks, they'll lose immediately, and I don't get it. Um, I don't get the mentality. What goes
Well,
into
because
it?
I think there's somewhat of an arrogance, truthfully, in that this team is beneath us. We don't even need to consider them, and therefore they lose because they're not mentally in the game. Whereas the team that's good, it's like, dang, we got to really prepare for this team. This team's really good. So then they play better because they're mentally in the game.
Well, I guess I know that's probably a part of it. I can say I don't. Me
You don't
personally,
understand,
I don't
right?
understand getting there. I'm of the mind that no matter, like in music, no matter how easy it is, I'm gonna prep it like it's a hard and the most important thing I've ever played. Because I want to make sure that there is no question I'm not gonna do it wrong. And that's not to pull myself up. Is that I want to make sure I do it as best I can. And if I played
Yeah.
a team, we played like back in high school. Some of my friends, they were sure like prideful against the teams that we were playing,
Yeah.
but and you're like, and therefore they're nothing to us. But for me, it was so like, okay, no matter what, anything could happen. I'm gonna play my best every single game. I don't care if they're the best or the worst. I don't want to lose because I didn't try.
Right. Sorry, I just brought this up and highlighted Curtis Lewa's vote to point out that if he had dropped out, this 8.2 would put Cuomo within 1.2% of Mamdani. I cannot emphasize enough how much this irks me. Like, right now, Cuomo could be within striking distance of the governorship. Not of the governorship. He already did that and got kicked out for killing old people and grabbing butt. He was all out of old people. Credit to Ben Shapiro for that joke. I think it's hilarious. Uh, but had Sliwa dropped out, Cuomo would be within striking distance of the mayor's office. And because he hasn't, like, if you're voting for Curtis Sliwa, there is no universe in which your vote then goes to Mamdani. So either you wouldn't vote, or the more likely outcome, you would vote for Cuomo. Which let's say that not everybody would. Let's say half of Curtis's voters would. That still puts Cuomo 6 points out. That's ridiculously close for how far the polls have showed Mamdani and Cuomo apart. That's extremely close. So I would like to thank Curtis Lewa for single-handedly handing over. I mean, not quite single-handedly, but I'd like to thank Curtis Lewa for handing over the industrial and, as I said, cultural/political capital of the world to a Muslim communist. Thank you, sir. We could not have done it without you.
I'm just a Muslim communist. Um, a dude that can't even tell the difference of what his relatives are.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You saw that? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
His aunt, by which he means his father's cousin.
Of which
Also, a dude who
some
could
sources,
not.
I'll say, of
Sorry,
course,
go
some
ahead.
sources debate of whether or not she actually dealt with hijab stuff.
Yeah. Well, his aunt certainly didn't. She was
Yeah,
in Tanzania and didn't wear a hijab.
right.
But yeah, undetermined whether or not said Zarafui uh, were Firstly, I mean, she probably existed, but whether there is any truth to the account that he made, But, because Muslims were the real victims of 9/11.
Of course, of course.
He's literally doing the Norm Macdonald joke.
Mm-hmm.
For those who
Oh,
don't
yeah.
know, there's a classic Norm Macdonald joke where Norm says, my greatest fear is that Muslim terrorists will get a hold of a dirty bomb and nuke the city and kill millions upon millions of people. Ooh, my shirt's ready. Kill millions upon millions of people because, well, the blowback against Muslims would be awful. Right? The joke being obviously the real tragedy there is the millions of dead people, but in the wake of 9/11, you have George Bush reading the Quran 6 days after 9/11 happens. And it's like, dude, read the freaking room. Nobody cares about Islamophobia right now. And so Zordon's literally just doing the Norm Macdonald bit. All right, well, I'm going to join you in eating on the stream.
Oh, okay. Um, guess it's my turn for. I don't know what. I'll just put the thing on the screen again. Not there's anything new or exciting. This one. Pretty sure. Alright, let's see here. Over here in Virginia, got 80% in. Spanburger. It's just a fantastic name. I wish it was a spam burger. Like you're spamming burgers. Oh, can you imagine just being spammed burgers? On one hand, that would just like demolish your stomach. But it'd be awesome. Back up, dog. Alright. Let's see here. Over here. Not as much fun names. And New Jersey. She's up. Well, yeah, she's up by a little bit. They got 59% in, but they still got 40% to go. They got 20% to go. It's probably going to go Spanburger. I'm going to call it Burger Spam. Cheryl, probably. I mean, it could turn around. They still have 40% to go. Things could happen. And over here, 52%. Yeah, let's just be honest. As much as I hate to say it's going to go this direction, it's going to go Mamdani. They're not running, they're leaning. That's wild, though. If Kayla was right about Curtis, about little hat boy over here, woo, then they would be tied if all of his votes went directly here. Maybe, maybe not. Percentage-wise, if I took the percentage move over, I probably would, but I have to actually do the math. Because there's these ones down here. So he probably would find some way, still be able to up a little bit.
You have got to be freaking kidding me, dude.
What?
It is literally the exact amount that Cuomo is down. Oh my goodness, I'm going to have a stroke.
Well, percentage-wise, I mean, if we did the actual math, we'd probably not get. Well, hold on. One. No, I think Cuomo would still be short just a little bit.
Right, but percentage-wise, I'm saying.
Percentage-wise, yes. I'm talking about like the literal vote numbers.
Yeah, no, I get that. But that irks me, dude. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
How's Jay Jones doing? Unfortunately, quite well.
I was saying that I wish her name wasn't Spanburger because The better name would have been Spam Burger. And I was going about, imagine how great it would be to be just spammed with burgers. It'd be terrible for your stomach, but it'd be a magical time.
Well, honestly, I thought with spam burger would be like it's a burger made of spam.
I think people are at home,
Oh,
so I probably need to.
alrighty.
I probably need to scoot
Alrighty. Well,
because she's gonna bark for the next while.
that's fine. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. We hope you have enjoyed this weird kind of mishmash stream where we talked about some stuff. Uh, if you did, if you want to see more weird streams like this, please subscribe, leave a like, follow us on our various social medias, and as always, guys, Lord willing, we will see you in the next video. Peace.